Hi, welcome back to my Mindful House. This particular topic that I'm going to be expanding on is something that I take very seriously, especially when it comes to giving my kind of input in how to increase your income, right? Now, I'm going to tell you from the perspective of being able to increase your income to $10,000. Now, when it comes to $50,000 or $1 million, whatever it may be, I'm not the person for that yet. Catch that yet, because I'm not there yet. But when it comes to being able to increase your income to $10,000, I've been able to understand certain way of thinking and doing, because the reality of it is that you don't have to do a certain thing, as Bob Proctor says. You don't have to do a certain thing to get where you want to get to. You just have to do it in a certain way, right? So I kind of made a little list, and sorry if you guys hear my son in the background. This is mom life and this is real life, and I'm not going to try to sugarcoat this and make it look pretty. I'm just going to give it to you in this raw form as to what it is. So the first thing that I wrote down is make a committed decision and stick to that. So when I say that, I'm saying that we have to make decisions that are independent of anyone or anything else, right? That is necessarily like the core of it. So I'll give you an example. When I was deciding to sign up for a year-long coaching program, I was so tempted to ask my mom and my sister and this and that, like, what are y'all opinion on this? Like, this is so much money, blah, blah, blah. And I realized I could not do that. Because let's think about it like this. Like, my mom comes from a very different generation that I do. And her understanding or what she comprehends or just that alignment is going to be different from what I experienced. I kind of went off to school in the States and kind of stayed there. So it's very, very different. So when you're making a decision to change your life and to transition fully into who you're meant to be, you have to make the decision. Nobody else can make that decision for you. And we don't realize how many people we ask their opinion. We ask their opinion on if we should do something, how we should do it, how it should look, when should we do it. And you don't realize it, but that's something that we could be doing for years, for decades. But we have to get out of that space, okay? The second thing that I have is shift your mindset. Okay. You have to shift your mindset from limitation, right, and lack to resource and abundance. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give it to you honestly, like mindset is everything. What your mindset is, I will give this to you in the most honest form. Until you shift your mindset and really understand that nothing that anybody else has, you cannot have. And it's not even money. Because, even when you look back in biblical terms, he says, that, or it's said in the Bible, God says that, the worshiping of money is evil, right? What we're talking about here is increasing your income in order to be able to do the great things that you want to do. Go the places that you want to go. Help people in the way that you want to help them. It starts in the mind. If you don't believe you could have it, you will never have it. The third thing I have that I think is also very important is you have to seek support and you have to seek education. There's no way around that. We're living in a very advancing world, as you can see. I was listening to this podcast and I have a shower speaker. And I was listening to the podcast, and in the interview, this lady said, soon colleges and universities will not even be needed. And to other people, maybe like, oh, that's not going to happen. Oh, when she said, I was like, yeah, that's facts. Because where we're going right now, you have people on social media who are making millions of dollars. I mean, me who went to school for 8 years almost of my life, and have people who are on TikTok making way more money than I do. I'm not mad at them. I'm trying to get, baby, let me get on that wave, because we have to advance with the world. But when I say to seek out knowledge and help, read self-help books. You know, the you are a badass at making money, you are a badass at having a great life. The Greatest Man in Babylon, Abundance Now by Lisa Nichols. It's so many good books. Who Moved? I just read Who Moved My Cheese, or something of that nature. Bob Proctor, who I'm a big fan of. I'm in his year-long coaching program. He has a free, and I always tell everybody to watch it. He has a free program on YouTube called You Are Born Rich, right? Listen to the podcast. My favorite podcast right now is The Mindset Mentor. It's very stimulating. It's very driven. Even when it comes to YouTube, I'm a huge YouTube person. 9 out of 10, I'm watching YouTube for people who inspire me, who is giving me value. You gotta give value, right? In our normal setting, we need to give value to get value. But the beauty of YouTube is that you can sit there and you can just fill your cup up, but making sure that you're aligning with what it is that you're trying to get to. So, for example, like when I started, when I started to first get into Reels, I didn't know how to do it. So I would make a little list of some things I needed to do to educate myself. And I would go on YouTube and I'd say, okay, how do you do these Reels? So whatever it is that you want to align with, fill yourself up with that information, with that content. And let me tell you something, it has to be on a daily basis. It cannot be sometimes, it cannot be every blue moon, it has to be daily. As in, when you jump in your car, already have your audio for what you want to be listening to on your car ride, on your drive. Because the truth of the matter is, some of us spend a lot of time in our car, and that could be 3-4 hours of education a day that you could be getting. Utilize your time, utilize your situation and your space. The fourth thing I would say is to plan your day out and wake up early. I kind of put those two together because it is very, very important to plan your day out. I used to look at people and be like, I don't know why you would plan your day out. Like, what is that doing? But the truth of the matter is, if you want to get a certain thing done, or different things, right? Especially if you're a creative person like I am, I need to almost release my thoughts and the things I need to get done on this to-do list, right? And then the next day execute. Now, when I say that goes hand in hand with waking up early, okay, so you can get up, or you can wake up at 5 a.m. and by 10 a.m., depending on how your work, I don't know your particular work situation, but by 10 a.m., you could basically be done with your whole to-do list, right? You have the rest of the day. So imagine if you got up early, got it out the way, right? You then have this whole bunch of hours left that you still can fill up with other things that you can do. You killing it. You killing it. You getting it. You're able to do things that somebody would take a week to do in 4 hours. If you prioritize your time, I'm telling you, the world is yours. So I never was into watches. Never. In all of the 31 years, this is my first year I've ever really owned a watch, like had like a watch, you know? And I'm getting used to the point where I even forget it's even on my wrist. But literally, I'm always like, okay, what time is it? Because time is the most valuable thing. One of the most valuable things you can ever have. Think about it. We will never be in this day again. You know what I'm saying? Time is something that you have to use that commodity wisely. Let me calm down. But definitely plan out your day, execute, and try your best to wake up early. If you say, oh, I'm not a morning person, first of all, stop saying that. Because if you keep saying, I'm not a morning person, okay, you will never be a morning person. But start by implementing little habits, little things like waking up, maybe an hour earlier than you would have woken up before. Or on the weekends, instead of sleeping in until 12, 1 o'clock, wake up by 9 a.m. And you may say, oh, that's so hard to do. Oh, it comes down to how bad do you want it. I'm up typically by 4:30, 5:30. Like waking up at 7 a.m. is very late for me. Like that's very late for me. For somebody else, that may be too early. You know what I mean? So it's different kind of like alignments or path. Another suggestion I would give to increase your income to, let's just say $10,000 a month, like I have been able to, is create a budget. I found this to be very, very helpful. I purchased the budgeted mom. She's on Instagram. I purchased her printable budget planner that I just have and I print out, and then I have little wallets that sometimes I go off a little course on it, but for the most part I always budget out every single Friday. You make a budget, determine what your expenses are, and try to see what you can eliminate. So I'll give you an example. Before we used to have cable, so then we switch over to internet, you know what I mean? Or I would eat out almost every week. That had to either be completely eliminated or drastically decreased. So look at your budget and kind of see, okay? The sixth thing that I have is what I kind of like got from the book, The Richest Man in Babylon, about like saving / investing 10% of your income. And I thought that resonated with me. So that was really what had me start to like really focus on saving and investment. I grew up in a household where my mom was very big into saving. We had this, she had this little, it was really like a light with a hole in the bottom, like a lamp, a glass lamp, or clay lamp, whatever, with a little hole at the bottom, and like that would be like her bank. So that's where she would put money in, and she would call it kitty. So every time we needed money, my mom would say, go in kitty. I'm like, okay, go in kitty. But my mom was an excellent saver. One of the best savers I'd ever seen. But now in the generation that I am, it's no longer enough to just save. And I can't say it enough, because I had to realize that. It's no longer enough to just save. You have to invest your money. You have to flip that money into something else. And I just want to make it very, very clear. This is something that even for me, like I'm still working personally on understanding what are the best investments that I can do for myself. But I know that one of the best investments that I do is investing in myself. Because when I'm able to invest in myself personally, I'm then able to say, okay, oh, I have this course underneath my belt. Let me go ahead and start this thing or do this thing or whatever it may be. But also, you know, you can have other investments. Like one of the big investments, in my opinion, for us or for me, was to purchase a home. I knew that I probably wouldn't sell this house anytime soon. And now that we have our son, this is going to be his house. Later for him to do what he wants. If he wants to have this as an income, or if he wants to go ahead and cash out when he's 20 or 21, 25, I should say. That's how I'm setting up his trust fund, that he can get whatever it is that he needs at 25 years old. But one of those smart things with a house is that it's an investment that you can Airbnb, all of that. So I would recommend to anybody, what I've been doing that's been helping me to increase my income is to understand investment, right? And how we can turn it and flip it around. And I'm going to talk about MSIs or multiple sources of income in a little bit, but that kind of goes hand in hand. The seventh thing that I want to talk about is creating multiple sources of income. Kind of like transitioning. Creating multiple sources of income is very important, in the sense of, I always thought, okay, I'm going to be able to work and make as much money. But as Bob Proctor says, we are limited by time. There's only 24 hours in a day. So you know that's a max of 24 hours that you can work. And I mean, you need to sleep. So you got to take away, let's just say 6-8 hours, all of that, you know what I'm saying? To be able to sleep. So you're limited when it comes to time. But when you move to what he calls an M3 levels, where you have your money working for you. So I'll once again give a little example. I started my mindful house with rebounding, and at first it was not a thing of like, oh, I am going to make money from this. It was, I had just had a son, and I was bigger than I ever thought I would have been at that point. and I started to rebound in my garage, and I had a few friends come over. Sometimes they would come, sometimes they wouldn't, and I'll do it by myself, all of that. And then I said, even if I had to shift my mindset and say, even if just one person can start rebounding and get what I am getting from this, it's a joy. So I started my mindful house. I don't make a whole bunch of money. I'll be very transparent with that. I don't even make $500 a month from that yet. But guess what? I'm making money from that I didn't have before. So if I was just making an extra dollar from my mindful house business, I'd be okay, that's dope, because that's a dollar that I didn't have yesterday. And that's progress. Now I have a clear vision of where I want my mindful house to go, and I'm going to walk in that direction until I find that. And then once I find where I want to go, I'm going to go further. Because our natural instinct, once again, is for expansion, expression of our life in God's will and how we see our kind of like vision for our life going. Okay, so the next one I'm going to talk about, number 8, is study and examine healthy, happy, wealthy people. And I stress the happy, happy, abundant life people. You don't want to study wealthy people or individuals who are mean, who are disrespectful, who are this, who are that, because that wouldn't be the person that you'd want to align with. You want to align with somebody who is giving, who has an abundant life. Like Lisa Nichols says, an abundant life is to, have great experiences, have great family, good friends. What is the point of being a multi-millionaire, a multi-billionaire if you have nobody to share it with? If you looking there by yourself, what's the point? Having an abundant life is a beautiful thing, and so we should look and study people who marry what it is that we want to have, or what it is that we want to be. Which I know with social media it makes it difficult because you really don't know anybody's life. But I'm just saying that to say that you want to examine them. What are they doing? What advice are they giving you? Sometimes when certain people that I align with and I follow who are giving advice, I'm catching that thing. I'm gonna catch it. Like a fly in a house, I'm gonna catch it, because my thing is, okay, okay, so you saying we should plan our day? All right. And guess what? I'm gonna look at you and I'm gonna take your advice because I like how you vibe. I have a neighbor, Connie, who I talk about very often. Connie has the best yard in our neighborhood. Keep in mind, there's probably like 100 or more houses in our neighborhood. Connie has the best neighborhood in our yard. Everybody knows it. So when I'm now needing help with my yard for an Airbnb, I'm like, Connie, can you help me? I'm gonna go to her because she showed me her results. She doesn't need to tell me. I can see it. Go after the people or align with the people who you want to align with. And if you ever have the urge or the tendency to reach out to someone and be like, oh, hey, can you help me with this? Or don't just always go to somebody with your hand out. Go there offering to do something. I'll give you an example. If I reach out to someone asking them to do something, either I'm going to be offering money to them for their time or resources that they're offering to me, or I'm going to offer them something that I can give them or something that I can do. Don't just always, you have this, do you happen to know anybody who's so-and-so? Oh, do you? That, I know for me that's annoying. I have a particular person in my life, not really in my life because we're not really friends, who I'm like, if I look at my text messages from this girl, everything is like, hey, is your blah, 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 do you have blah, blah, blah? You only text me when you need me. At a certain point, I don't even reply back, to be honest. Because I'm like, okay, that's the only time you text me. Try to, when you're asking someone for something, bring something in return, because that's going back to the law of cause and effect, right? The way that you want someone to support you or show up for you or do for you, do the same thing for them. Okay, so number 9, very important that I had to learn, invest in yourself financially. I can't remember the exact saying, like scared money don't make no money, I think. Something like that, scared money, something like that, right? You can't be here trying to say, oh no, I ain't trying to pay for that, that's too expensive. You ain't gonna get nowhere doing that. Trust me, I had to learn this. I used to be like, I ain't paying for nothing. I ain't going to nothing. Me now? Yo, a seminar costs $3,200. If I had to scrap my little change to go for that, because I understand what the value of knowledge is. And not book knowledge, not necessarily that, but like the mind, the study of the mind and winning actions, that could take you to the top. So invest in yourself financially. If you don't have the money, save. Look around your house, look around your apartment, see what you could sell on Facebook Market and sell that thing. Sell it and make a few dollars. If you need to go Uber for a week to whatever you need, get that money to invest in yourself. Now, I'm not saying go do nothing illegally. I know when people be like, oh, I was telling us to go rob a store. No, I wasn't. I'm just saying to you, do what it is that you need to do to advance yourself. Don't look around and be like, okay, well, this person doing something that I really want to do, whatever it may be. The last thing, and one of the things that are kind of near and dear to my heart, is set goals for yourself. Do not put these goals in a box of realistic. I need to set realistic goals. Baby, we ain't operating on a plane of realistic. We're not going only by what we see. You're going by what you see in your mind, what you could visualize in your mind. Anything that you see in our physical form or in our physical environment is created twice. Once in the mind, because we visualize it, we picture it, and then once in physical form. I think it's maybe you think Elon Musk didn't in his mind, okay, I want to do an electrical car that does this, and he built it in his mind, and he built it, not only him, but a group of them did this thing in physical form. So don't always go by, oh, what's your bank account say? My bank account says that I can only go ahead and do, I only can afford a house for this amount. Sometimes we have to shift that, and trust me, like I've been going through something similar and trying to figure out some things for the move to Miami, where I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is what it's saying I can afford. Then I just say, you know what? I'm not going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on what I visualize in my mind and let it move into form. I'm going to ask God, come through for you, girl. Come through for you, girl. And I'm not just asking him to come through for me, but I'm going to put in the work. So I hope that all of those 10 steps that I provided to you guys is helpful. I'm telling you, do not look for a quick fix. Do not say, I got to do this to make money. No, you don't. You could walk dogs and make money. You could create a whole company of dog walkers making money. That ain't about, oh, I got to do this. Get out of that. I had to get out of that too. Get into that vibration of you have to do things in a certain way. You have to work with the laws that God has given us. The law of cause and effect. The law of polarity. And these are logical stuff, not just, oh, these are laws, whatever. These are logical things. You know, if you go eat right, you go do what you need to do, you gonna look snot, that body gonna come through. You have to work, you have to do things in a certain way. So hopefully I'm able to come back again to you guys with telling you how to make 65, 70K a month. That's the goal. As I'm going to give it to y'all, because guess what? From abundance, as Bob Proctor says, from abundance, scoops abundance, and abundance remains. Meaning that you can scoop, if you need 20 cups of sand, you can scoop your 20 cups of sand. And guess what? There'll be enough for everybody to get all what they need and plus more. And then if it's getting a little bit low, God is going to fill it back up. From abundance, scoops abundance, and abundance remains. I'm sending you guys an abundance of love, positivity, good energy, good support, all that good stuff. Until next time, bye.